It's a great day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to Banging on the Drum, where we are breaking down the keys to a Packers victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, 12 o'clock Central Time. Um, should be a pretty easy win, but there are a few things we will need to get in order so that we can get the victory. So let's buckle up and let's get to it. All right, so easy victory. I think that the Steelers defense is an elite level defense, and then the Packers, and then the Steelers offense is ho hum, right? And so the Packers offense can be kind of both things. They could be ho hum, or they could kind of be like a top end, right? Depending on who decides to come to call the plays. If it's LaFleur that wants to get in his bag and run something like he did with the uh, like double, like flat fake over the middle to Musgrave. If we get that play caller, I think the Packers offense would be like top notch. It seems like we don't get that play caller very often though. And so, all right, with that being said, let's jump into the keys to victory. All right, and so like an obvious one right off the jump is the Packers need to protect the ball, right? So we had 3 fumbles last week. That needs to get corrected. And then we also need to find a way to get the ball from the Steelers. I think the easiest way to do that is probably through Kenny Pickett, right? To confuse him, to have our defense put pressure on him and have him making bad throws. Um, anyway, keep the ball controlled for the Packers and take the ball from the Steelers. Pretty easy one. Win the turnover battle. That's what it all comes down to. If we do that, we got a great chance to win. Number 2, we got to run the ball in order to take pressure off of Jordan Love. Put him in 3rd and short. Get the running game going. Get it going early, and give the ball to Aaron Jones. I know that he put the ball on the turf a few times, but that's rare. That is not a norm. That is a rarity. And so I would say, again, in the first half, we need to get 10 to 15 touches for both Dillon and Jones combined. And then I like what we did last week where we had over 30 touches in the running back room. This is going to be challenging because running the ball without success is very, very difficult. And the Steelers' defensive line is good. They got Cameron Jordan and TJ Watt on that line. Could wreak a lot of havoc, but running the ball is going to keep TJ Watt more on his heels. So, like one of the best pass rushers in the league, if not the best pass rusher in the league. I'll take him as the best pass rusher in the league just due to the fact that he's a Wisconsin Badger. But that's a guy that you have to like keep him guessing on what you're going to do on each play. And I'm here for it. If LaFleur wants to be kind of off the wall this week, I'd let him be off the wall every week this year. We need to scheme up new and better things for this Packers offense. And with that being said, I know that Christian Watson is a little dinged up, but key number 3 to winning this game would be to scheme the ball to Watson or whoever you're going to consider your number 1 this week. So if that's Dobbs, if that's Watson, if that's Reed, if that's Wicks, right? Whoever's going to kind of take the lead role, I want to get him 3 to 4 touches, maybe in the first quarter if we can, right? So run 15 plays in the first quarter. We get a bunch to Jones and Dillon. We get something to our wide receivers. I'd be really, really fine with like 2 guaranteed plays that go to whoever you're going to run as your 1. If that's Watson, perfect. 2 plays where he is going to touch the ball early and get going. That's what I would love to see in the first quarter. Is get him going, get him confident, get Jordan Love confident in the fact that these guys are going to catch the ball, and we're going to be keeping the Steelers guessing, right? So keep them guessing on offense. Key number 4 is control the run game. So the Steelers have 2 solid running backs. Najee Harris, who seems like he's been struggling a little bit more lately, and last name is Warren. Can't remember his first name right off the top of my head. but they have two solid backs, right? And so two guys that when they carry the ball, it seems like they get yards, they do things okay. And if we can control that run game like we did against the Rams last week, kind of set in to dominate the run game, then we put the ball in Kenny Pickett's hands. Kenny Pickett has had a tough go of it this year, and there's a good opportunity that we can get the ball taken away from him if we stop the run and put pressure on Pickett. There's a good opportunity to win the turnover battle, which is key number one. So control the run game. Don't let their running game get going. Let them get frustrated with the run game and put all their eggs in the passing game basket, like the Packers have liked to do in the early parts of this season and sometimes last season. Let them get frustrated with the running game and go straight to the passing game. That being said, key number 5 is we need a solid game from both Alexander and Valentin again, right? So like both those guys need to play kind of at the top end of their game. Alexander, when he plays at the top end of his game, he probably has like 2 picks in a game. So, but the rookie Valentin, he needs to step up. And then I think the key here is to keep the ball away from Deontay Johnson. I think he's the best wide receiver that the Steelers have. And I know that George Pickens wants the ball more, and he seems to be a little bit, I don't know if it's outspoken. He's doing some crazy stuff on social media when it comes to the Steelers. He appears to want the ball a little bit more. I think he's really highly talented. However, when Deontay Johnson gets going, he has a ton of catches, ends up with a ton of yards. We need to work on keeping the ball out of his hands. But to be fair, we need to make sure that George Pickens doesn't go off either, right? So both those guys are like guys that can do something in the league. They both have some talent. But need to control them, right? So Alexander and Valentine need to do what they did last week with 2 other good wide receivers in the NFL, right? So it's not going to be as easy. We're not facing a backup quarterback. However, we are facing a quarterback that has had some struggles. Key number 6, and this is the one that I'll keep in probably forever. This will be an every week key to the game, and it's something that I want to see every game is let it rip at least once a quarter. And so like I got a new plan for the way we can operate with Watson and Love. So assuming Watson is healthy, is basically 5-step drop, and Jordan Love just chucks it as far as he can. And if it isn't run under by Watson, then it is Watson's fault, right? Be faster. We've seen Jordan kind of underthrow him really consistently all year, right? And so I think I'd just like to see him throw it as far as he can. I guess if that's out of the end zone, that's not okay, but 2 yards short of the back of the end zone, do it, right? If that's how far you can throw the ball, let him run under it. Throw it as high as you can, as far as you can, and just let him do his thing. And if it's still too short, then I don't know what to do, right? So like you throw it 2 yards to the back of the end zone and Watson's sitting there for a second waiting for it. I don't know, take a little off the height of the ball and less hang time on that ball. I don't think that would be the case. I would assume Jordan Love could, to some degree at least, outthrow how fast Watson is, but let's test it. Let's test how fast Watson actually can be in pads, moving down the field. Like, what can we see come out of that? Chuck it deep a few times, or maybe it's like just a home run play. Like you run a home run play, you run a flea flicker, or a special play. 7. All right, so I mentioned these 2 earlier, but we got to control TJ Watt and Cameron Jordan. They are game wreckers. They're guys like Aaron Donald. They will wreck an offensive game plan real quick, especially if you let them get hot. For these 2 guys, we just got to contain them. We got to figure out how to minimize their contributions to this game, right? Because They're going to do something in this game. They're going to make a big play. They're going to do something right. We just got to make sure that we minimize what they're doing here. Do not let them wreck our game plan. Do not let them wreck our game. All right. Key number 8, make a big special teams play. Block a kick, return a kick for 50 yards, return a kick for a touchdown, return a punt for a touchdown, return a punt 25 yards, change the field position with a play, get a big stop on a punt, right? So stop them at the 10, like on a play that they didn't fair catch. Just make a big special teams play. That is important. It changes momentum, changes field position a lot of times. Key number 9, erase the false start and lining up wrong penalties. I know that it feels like we got targeted in that game and that we were the team that they decided, oh, if your guard lines up too close to your center or too close to the ball, then we're going to call them on it. And it feels like the Packers were the ones that got targeted on this when a time when we're going to try to change something around what appears to be the brotherly shove or the tush push. Like we're going to try to change some rules around that so that it's not as easy to accomplish in getting it. But that target, like we can adjust that. Those are things that we can know. And then we got to get all our guys on the same page with Jordan Love's hard count. His hard count's pretty good, I think. It's good enough that it's confusing wide receivers. It's confusing some of our linemen. We got to get rid of the false start penalties. We got to get right the lining up penalties. I think Rashawn Gary had one where he lined up over the ball as well. Like these are things we got to clean up. I can deal with pass interference. I can deal with holding. I can deal with roughing the passers. I can deal with in play penalties. Now the pre-snap and the like just setup type penalties that aren't for doing like being too aggressive or like working too hard or like trying to save the day. Like we got to get rid of those. No more dumb penalties. The dumb penalties can't exist. We can't be rolling into the passer, 3 steps late. You can be like, if you land on them and like, I'll take that. I'll deal with it. I'll hate the refs over that one. I won't worry about blaming the player. If you hit a guy running over the middle in the head with your helmet because you were trying to blow him up and make a big play, all right, I get it. It's against the rules, but like that ain't on I'm going to hate the game and the way they've decided to call that game for that instead of hating what the player did there. That's always been an issue for me. I think that I could get into a huge rant about guys getting hit coming over the middle, defenseless receiver. There's no defenseless receiver, just stupid ones, right? So like if you want to catch a ball over the middle and not get blown up, well, that's the game of football. In theory, should be a mental game that if I catch that ball, I'm going to get hit. That's the deal. And so if I can overcome that mentally, good for you. Now, that's not the way the NFL is anymore, so I won't blame the player. I'm going to blame the NFL for that. Always go with the defense. Like, let them blow people up. The receiver should be smart enough not to put his hands over his head and go catch that ball. Otherwise, he knows he's going to get lit up. That's kind of my opinion. But from a slightly different generation, and the generation before me was even slightly more hardcore than I am on that rule. So, but I think you should be able to light up a wide receiver every time it comes across the middle. Don't come across the middle if you don't want to get lit up. All right. So sorry, that was a bit of a rant. So 9, again, erase the false start and the lining up penalties. No more dumb ones. Like aggressive ones, I can deal with aggressive penalties. No more dumb penalties. No more lining up penalties. All right. Number 10, draw up the most fun play you can think of and run it. And run it maybe you drop the top 3 plays you can think of that would be fun to run and let them do it. Let them practice it. Let them have fun with the game. Last week against the Rams, we had the double flat over the middle TD to Luke Musgrave. Worked like a charm. The more I've seen highlights of that, I do think that was the intended play call. I know I said in the regular podcast that I thought maybe it wasn't the regular play call and that like that was the third option on that, or the second option. I think the first one for sure is a fake. the screen maybe is a fake, and then you go to Musgrave. I do think that was for sure the call then. After watching it a few times, it does look like he moved through his progression way too quickly in order for that not to be like the call of the thing. So my idea for this play is it is a direct snap to, let's just say, A.J. Dillon, and then Christian Watson comes on the reverse, right? Gives it to Christian Watson on the reverse, and then throw it to Jordan Love for the touchdown. I think what I named this thing is a direct snap reverse pass to the QB. And so that should be easy 6. I would assume Jordan Love can catch, and I assume Christian Watson can throw. If those are the guys that can't catch or throw, we might have to adjust. Maybe Sean Clifford needs to come in just for that play. We'll fake an injury with Jordan Love, and he'll be back in on the next play. I'm not sure how that would work. But I think it could be an interesting little wrinkle, especially right down by, I don't know, the 10-yard line or so. That easy peasy lemon squeezy touchdown. So anyway, so those 10 keys to the game, I think, could pretty easily put us in the winners column again. Well on our way to a 10-0 finish. So 9 more to go. The Steelers one looks like it's a lock in the bag as long as they follow my 10 keys to the victory. And if you are doubting the Brewers, the Badgers, the Bucks, or the Packers, you can eat our shorts. Roll.
All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Beat them. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Eat my shorts.